Alright, it's spooky scary day, so I figured I'd play something spooky and scary. A little dashed in with what I want to actually play with the spooky scary in mind. I'd rather not play something like this just because it looks spooky and scary. So I'm going to go with Athreos. Happy middle ground. I really like this commander. It's definitely spooky scary, and yeah, so I've played this before. It was a long time ago, and there are a lot of cards that have come out since then. And I also want to play something black and white that I really like, just to spite this other commander that I see all the time now. Because I think Legend VD played it. Kaya, I'm seeing Kaya like every 3 games. Kaya's just all over the place because Legend VD made a video about it. So I'm going to outdo the little baby black white commander with the big scary one. We could do something similar though, because I guess this is a life steal, or rather life gain, life loss chain bouncing combo thing, and this is more about just infinite like creature value sort of. And while that's pretty cool, not every deck is creature centric, and having combos does make sense. So let's see what Athreos looks like in 2024 on the day of spookiness, shall we? Okay, so this is very weird looking, but I kind of like it. A bunch of mana rocks, a bunch of planeswalkers that are pretty good, and I actually get 9 creatures, most of which are, either really big and scary or like tutors, Heliod's Pilgrim and stuff. Skyclave is a removal spell and stuff like that. I took out Esper Sentinel, I had to think of the name. I took out Esper Sentinel. I don't really think this is the kind of deck for it. Obviously, turn 1, it can draw cards. I just don't really see that, especially when I'm not really putting the pressure on my opponent early, and they can just like play around it, and then I blow it up with my own sweeper later. And is it better than Profane Procession? Maybe, but this card is funny. I haven't played with this card in a while. It's a lot of mana to do something that isn't too strong, but yeah, again, I like it. I don't know. You can't stop me. So we're getting the value from our opponent with the text box. There's ways to do it with yourself, but I don't know. That seems too easy. All right, it's too easy. We gotta live life on the edge a little. It's Halloween. You can move loyalty and coin counters. Oh, yeah, all right. I'll look at it. I forgot to look at it just now. Oh, cool! It's Tamiyo. I can't wait. I don't have anything to do on turn 2. A little rough, but I did set my deck up for this, playing a slower game. I assume this is not a Tamiyo deck, otherwise I would have just lost the game. Yeah, it doesn't look like a Tamiyo deck. Okay. So double white is alright. Shoot. I'm gonna play this, though. This lets me Athreos. I think they have a 1-mana blue protection bounce kind of spell. So if I play Athreos and then what do I do after is the main issue here. I don't think I'm doing enough after I just simply cast Athreos. I didn't come here not to cast it though. Alright. It's not a creature, so it doesn't get hit by all this jazz. Let's do this because Tamiyo can flip. Honestly, I'm not even worried about the counters on my commander. Moving them around and stuff. I'm not really concerned about that. This game is making me want another sweeper. I might just take out Portal. Because again, our commander's already doing this. Like, why do I... Probably just run something more efficient. Like another Mana Rock or something. I think way too much has to go right now. opponent just did stone cold nothing. Let's play this. I'm a little confused. If I have like a sweeper now, you just like kind of ruined everything. I drew one. I just can't cast it. So let's get rid of Tamiyo or Glarb. Probably Glarb, right? Yeah, Glarb would make sense here. And I'll put the counter on the Urtai here. Alright, I did draw a sweeper, but so given my opponent's last turn, I kind of anticipate either clues being cracked or Glarb being windmill slammed. Flipping Tamiyo doesn't actually do anything, so they're not super incentivized. I shouldn't say it doesn't do anything, but... Wait a minute. Wait a second. If I put a counter on Tamiyo and they exile it, do I just get it? I didn't even think of that, because it self-exiles. I didn't even think of that. Oh, I didn't think of that. Now, my opponent has to flip it right now, and I kind of don't think they will, because if that's the only thing they're doing, it doesn't look good. But that's actually really funny. Because it doesn't transform. It literally exiles. It leaves play for a second. What the heck is... What is this? Beginning of your end step. What the... That's deep. That's deep. Alright, so... I can't really afford to just sit on this. They might even have a Pact of Negation. I think they do. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? Just send it. Okay, they don't. I was just lying. I'm a liar. Just not use that, and then get this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna get this. Try to win. This Delighted Halfling is actually kind of good. This turned around really quickly. Turned around extremely fast. I think there's still a blue bounce spell in their hand. That's just a Darkstar Augur. That's what that is. Okay. Well, not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. My opponent played into this, so I'm going to play this instead. Okay, they just... Maybe they didn't have an answer to 1, and they see... Now I've shown them 2, and the game's probably just over. Alright, looks like we're back to the Menadork on the play. No, we're not. Haha! We're not. Stick Fingers, that's deep. Do I reanimate Stick Fingers on 1? No, that's stupid. I haven't seen a Hindering Light in a long time. So this mill game plan is so good with my reanimate here. I mean, so is the sweeper, but... Okay. Let's see here. Do I do nothing, or do I get rid of this board? I'm gonna do nothing. It definitely makes sense to... So I'm not a counterspell deck, so people are incentivized to like run stuff. Wait, what? Plus play some weird stuff over there. They just didn't have a land, I guess. Okay. You got it. And a castable card that costs a certain amount of mana. Let's get rid of the board. So my opponent does pick up lands, which they otherwise... No, they already had one in there at least, so I wasn't really schmeeding them. Okay, this is what we like to see. I wish this was upkeep, honestly. I really wish this was upkeep trigger. This end step nonsense is, nonsense. I'm confident there will be a better reanimate target in the future. So... that's not it. That's an interesting one to reanimate, but it's not that amazing. That's annoying. So... I think I'm always doing this, but the problem is I'm not doing anything else after. So, kinda meh. I could just reanimate at 12-12. Especially with my current life total. Yeah, alright. This is good. They have to bounce it or it sort of just sits around with Athreos, so... They can cast Uro? Yeah, they can cast Uro, which isn't too big of a deal. I have Heliod's Punishment. Although I guess that means they'll just simply block and cast it twice. No, they won't block if I put the Athreos counter on it. Right? Does that make any sense? I feel like that does. This has no text on it. It's just a stat stick. This just dies to combat. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't really know why they did that. Just to draw a card? Why didn't you just cast Uro instead? I'm very confused right now. Very confused. Do they have a 1-mana removal spell? Thought they could kill my Somnophage? Crazy name. Okay, yep. I'm just a little confused here. I'll take it though. Alright, so let's lead with this and do the discard portion. Opponent has Grist, Sir Conrad, and... both of these are a bit annoying. Suppose I'll take the one that's spammable. Yeah. And then if I aim to not die, I should do this. And I can't really see myself as not swinging. 6 on the back, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost dead if I don't. I think how I lose this game is getting beaten to death. And I should do something to avoid that. So I'm just going to not swing. Like, I have a tutor into 4, 5, 6. I actually can get Overwhelming Splendor next turn. So I might as well play into that and just be safe. Because they can Tenacious, swing for 6, 7, 8, 9, fetch lane is 10, I go to 1, and that seems insane. And in this way, I stay at 11, so... I think 11's better than putting my opponent to 10, for, like, not really much merit. Okay, so it looks like they're gonna try to kill this twice? They must have top-decked a removal spell, right? So be it if they did. Yep, they did. It's a removal spell I'm not really upset with, though, to be honest with you. It also dedicated a lot of resources from the opponent to do all of that. And now I actually don't have to crack the fetch land. There's just 1 extra life there if that ends up mattering. And currently 0 answer to Overwhelming Splendor, so they just got rid of Assassin's Trophy. So, surely this wins the game. Do we have Devotion? Oh, we almost have Devotion. Almost have Devotion. You think Hinderlight's a bad card? Well, I don't know. I like it. It's alright. It's alright. Alright, are we going to get beat to death by 1/1s before we turn this game around? I don't think so. I think I'm going to reanimate Uro just to gain life. I don't really like my other options. This seems fine to me. Just get some life, draw a card. So, this actually does become a creature. I'm gonna plus this. I'm gonna plus this. Alright, so now what? We're just trying to dodge certain cards, which they clearly don't have. That doesn't necessarily win, but it's really good. But it doesn't necessarily win the game. I think my opponent will actually concede when I cast this, though, in all honesty. So I'll just go to attacks first. It's only 4 damage. It's kind of miserable. There's a good chance my opponent concedes. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Alright, I was about to say, like... they simply could have just, like, actually... Oh, that was weird. I don't know. They could have, like, just let this get exiled. I don't know why they didn't do that. If it's cast in libraries... Sure. That's kind of weird. We did it. We did it. My opponent actually didn't have a counterspell, and their Brawl deck can't win now because we have infinite cards, and they can't keep up. Get wrecked. This is alright. I don't actually have a 3, so might as well take a 3, I guess. Might as well take a 3. Opponent doesn't have a 2? That makes no sense. That's kind of nuts to me. Well, we're not upset if they counter this, at least, because it doesn't upset or impede what we're going to do. I might just 1-for-1 their commit. Oh. Sure. So, Swamp. Play this. Pay 1. Alright, well, good luck. Looks like our opponent has the perfect source of plowshares. I will play this? Or do I play this? No, I'm gonna play this. Yeah, I like this. And I think I'm getting Gristlebrand. I gotta stop taking Valgavoth. Valgavoth actually is more mana, too, so it's actually more life for something that's just worse. No Swords of Plowshares, so it's some kind of protection spell for Helga, which is kind of weird, but okay. Ristic and Helga is weird, you think? I don't know. It's alright. I mean, it's just a decent blue card in general, so not too, like, taken aback by it. I'm not gonna lie, that was a very weird turn. And now we just leave up Wandering Emperor. Again, I fully expect some kind of protection spell at this point. Wow, they just straight took that. Okay. That's kind of crazy. Alright, well, they're dead next turn. They have to interact with me. Or play something egregious. I can't believe that they've done, like, nothing. That's crazy. Let's get rid of Liliana here, I think. Not feeling that one. Yeah, creation getting a Bristlebrand is certainly something. So I almost just straight lose to River's Rebuke. Honestly, I probably do just straight up lose to River's Rebuke. Luminous Broodmoth does not make me straight lose. Again, leaving up that 1 mana protection spell, it seems. Which okay, it's not. I don't think it's how my opponent's winning the game. I'm gonna play this because I just gotta use my mana. So they block with Broodmoth. Do they still die? Oh, right, I get Gristlebrand. I forgot. Is there any merit in doing something pre-combat? Yes. And I can play Skyclave. This absolutely forces out whatever they've got going on over there. So let's do that. So I can force the issue. Because they have a protection spell. I just need to see it. There it is. Alright, so... Are they dead? They're still dead. Nothing mattered? They're still dead? Yep. Wow. Oh wow, nothing? You're out of your mind. Okay. What? If you're gonna do that, you should... alright. Alright. Opponent just had nothing. That's nuts. Alright, so I kind of want to Shield Druid like anything. Suppose I will just Shield Druid this. Looks like there's Swords to Plowshares again. Probably not much I can do about it, though. I don't know in what world I don't just run this out, so... Another red-blighted player with Swords to Plowshares in their opener. Of course. That is a Fomori Vault. Alright. Interesting. So, Commander or, like, anything else? Mana Rock into Heliod's Pilgrim or Search? Pilgrim is getting something that is only castable if I top deck a land. I'll still play it, actually. I can actually get... No, I'm not going to get the other Curse. We're just getting this. I put it in my deck for a reason, so... That's nuts, but alright. Opponent's out of their mind. This is the weirdest deck I've ever seen. Alright, so let's play this. And plus or minus. Probably just make a token. No, I can just plus it. Fine, I guess. And there's no reason to attack. And then I'll play this. No Snowland, haha, I'm a fool. Let's get something that blows stuff up. Because I got other bases already covered. This is fine. Opponent thinks you're playing some sort of artifact deck? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe they are. It's not the commander I would have, yeah. Alright, so they get this back, but it doesn't die when you swing with it after. It just exiles, right? So they don't actually get the death trigger, which is, again, very weird to me. But sure. Wait, when does it go away? Beginning of your next upkeep. Gotcha. Let's do this. Whoa! Alright, I'm not gonna reveal... I don't think we're gonna reveal that. How dumb is it to play this? Not dumb. $1% dumb? Maybe. I'll give you that. You have a way to sacrifice this? Oh, of course you have a way to flicker it. Oh wait a minute. It doesn't die. I don't care about the... It's just a 4/4. Never mind. Life is fine. It's just a 4/4. Alright, so I really want to draw this crab, which is why I didn't want to crack the fetch land for the Splendor. Wow, not killing Ujin is insane to me. I feel like Ujin's just like a better Sorin, but alright. Fun doesn't agree. What do you have, Stifle? If my opponent has Minotithe, I mean, you know, so be it. This is a creature-centric deck, I think. So, good luck. Oh, wait, yeah, I was about to say, they could reanimate Ilarg and swing, but I just said that they can't do that, so... Might be crab time. Looking like it's gonna be crab time. Alright, crab. Send it. Do your thing. Well, I wouldn't have oh, I could have flickered the crab. I got 2 lands? Ugh. And they actually took the card that would have flickered the crab, too. Which would have been, like... See, this is why I don't play new cards. See, you recommend a card to me, I play it, and it does literally nothing. It literally does nothing. Ugh. They had 1 land in the graveyard? No, they had 2. I kind of hope my opponent gets this game to keep going, because it'd be funny. I have, like, nothing to do. Oh, I could have swung. Whoops. Could have swung with the old Athreos, my bad. I forgot it was a card that mattered, because it totally matters. It doesn't matter. It's like 4 damage. It's not about that. And there it is. Oh, wait. That doesn't actually do anything. So they need to have something right now, and it needs to be, like, stupid powerful. Ulamog, they could have just cast it so it's not the worst thing possible, so I don't really know what's going on. Yeah, they probably wanted to just not do what they just did. Excuse me. Now they can't blow it up with Destroy Evil. Oh, opponent. Oh, I could just recast it. Ugh. Yeah, that's not the best. That's not the best. They actually had a creature for Illard. Actually had an Illard creature there, so... I probably should not have swung with the mirror, but I did. Alright, I actually still... I get to steal this because it gets exiled. Yeah, I should not have swung with the mirror convert. That was just a mistake. It was absolutely a mistake there. My opponent's deck is pretty cool. This is sweet. I've never seen this commander before. That's cool. But yeah, they soul partitioned when they should not have, and then they lost Destroy Evil. So they actually had, if they sequenced these differently, they actually had it dealt with, but they just didn't. Now that would mean I would have my Virtue instead in play, but that's far more beatable than the Overwhelming Splendor. I don't know their hand, but I can see it as making sense. I can kind of get behind it. Alright, I'm going to keep a hand where I just can cast anything I draw. I think that's a pretty good idea. Let's get you... Let's... Well, I mean, alright. Kind of don't really like that, but it's alright, I guess. Alright, so, yep, we just do all the mana things in the observable universe. Do we want the medallions? We could certainly try. I'm not opposed to the medallions in a deck like this. Alright, so we have infinite mana, we just have to, like, do something with it. Another manland. This is a lot of not red stuff. Weird. Looks like our opponent also has infinite mana. Oh boy. Exciting. So, preferably dump my hand. It looks like I cannot dump my hand. Oh, yes, I can. So let's get rid of the medallion. Should probably get rid of this, right? They're kind of the same, but this is like more mana much faster. Yeah, we'll just do this. This is fine. Dump my hand. Start plussing away. Have a pretty solid board state. And I'm going after something that can explode a Chandra really quickly, right? So... Or I should say a future Chandra, obviously. Gristlebrand is the best thing in the universe to have drawn there. I can't believe I just drew that. My opponent knows I just top-decked it, too. Let's plus again, right? Yeah. My opponent has to deal with Gristlebrand, and I don't know how they do that, so... That was a... Like, I'm stun-locked about how good that was of a draw. That was just disgusting. plus first? Oh, whoops. Did I not? Well, you never know. Maybe there's merit in not doing that. Ragavan. Certainly beatable. So we get to kill Chandri here. Right? Yeah, I could have plus first, yeah. Oh, or my opponent just has deal 5 damage. Okay. That was a lot. I literally drew lands and ramp spells. Jeez. 7 lands and ramp spells. That's disgusting. Again, Planeswalker Commander, so... I don't know if Emrakul seals the deal, but it certainly does look really good here, I think. I'm not totally sure. I'm just gonna windmill cast it here, not think about it. Again, people just auto-concede to Emrakul, yeah, for the trillionth time. So, I don't know what their hand was, but I'm going to assume this is, again, they're at they're full life, they're head on board and stuff, but it's a pretty good chance that this Emrakul is extremely devastating. So, like, if I copy a spell and blow up their own stuff, and then I keep this in I keep it in the graveyard forever, yeah, this is just a bad... I get rid of the treasure, I get rid of the Mind Stone, I can, I guess, sack the Mutavault to my Emrakul, and then, like, minus this here. Yeah, I just blow up basically everything, so... Okay, so I don't know how fundamentally different this was from the last time I played it. Again, I sort of played it similarly to the way I like to play it, right? Which is no creatures of my own. If I can ever get away with that with a deck, I will obviously do that. I would say it was a little bit underwhelming. Almost really a lot underwhelming. There's plenty of games where I actually just could not use it because my opponents were lining up game sequences that didn't let me play it first. And even if I did play it first, I didn't necessarily put a coin counter on anything. I really wish this gave a coin counter on the upkeep and not the end step. So, you know, if you put something on the end step, it just means you don't get a choice after your opponent gets their turn. You know, it goes to them that they play something, and then it goes to you. If you cast a board wipe, you can't now choose the new card that they just played. You have to stick with whatever else you chose. If they had no creatures and you have to kill the creature they play on their turn, you get nothing because it was the only thing you could do with a coin counter. So, really weird and unfortunate that this is end step and not upkeep. It would be stronger if it was upkeep by a lot, but it's just not. And I hadn't really noticed that the last time I played it. Maybe it just didn't come up, but this time I did notice it. There were plenty of games where they turn... I mean, it's not good against the quote-unquote non-games where your opponent has Dark Ritual 3-drop on the play a Boreal Grazer, like that kind of game. You're not really coming back from those. The one ramp into 3 ramp and all that jazz. Some decks are decent, right? But this is not one of them. I was extremely light on spot removal, but that was kind of fine because I'm trying to deal with all the creatures at the same time and then, you know, get value from them. And every time my opponent was a creature-centric deck, I was very good against it. And some of the non-creature-centric decks, I was still alright against, but some of them, not really. I took out Valgavoth. It was in here for a little bit, but every time I had creation, I'm always getting Gristlebrand. Not only does it deal less damage to your face, it has an ability that actually matters, right, immediately, whereas Valgavoth doesn't do anything of the sort, especially if I have to then cast a sweeper 2 turns after having cast this, which is fairly likely, right? So that would make sense. Would I say this deck is missing cards only available in Commander? I think that it would apply to basically every single Commander. If you're talking about Eternal, like, just the larger card pool in general, absolutely. Oh, by a landslide. Yeah, this is far better on paper, but that goes for basically every Commander anyways. I wouldn't say it's unplayable or anything, right? You still have the thing with, like, I won, what, 10 games or something, right? You know, I didn't... Actually, it had a pretty solid win rate, although some of those wins, my opponents were just roping out, like, trick-or-treaters, I guess. You know, they put the phone down to give children candy instead of playing Magic against me. So, you know, I thought I was more important than that, but, you know, it's alright. It's alright. The Planeswalker package was solid. Profane Procession didn't get to do anything, but I still kind of like it. I would say I like it more than I don't. You could just run another card draw spell instead of this. I don't own Necro Dominance, right? But if you're a fan of Necro Dominance, you could put it in here. If you do, I would then put Shieldred, the Apocalypse in here as well, so you can, you know, have that going instead of just Shieldred Gristlebrand. They don't have Tooth and Nail or anything, right? Overwhelming Splendor is always phenomenal. Always a fan of that. I did not get an approach win. Decks where it's just tutors for approach, I wouldn't ever rely on just drawing it 7 turns later. So, like, the tutor package for this is pretty decent, but you're also a fan of card draw, so, like, the blue end of an approach is decent as well. Probably slightly better, honestly. But we do have card draw. It's not like that isn't a thing we have. Again, I didn't have Damnation, but in a deck like this with so many sweepers, I would probably actually just take out a sweeper and put in Damnation, and all I would have done is, like, save myself a mana. And other than that, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't... Yeah, it's just black-white control with big stuff. And if you like that, I might even recommend Kaya instead of Athreos, right? I think Kaya might just be better. In games where your opponent is a creature-heavy deck, the Athreos value is offset by what Kaya's doing, I think. And then in the games where it's not a creature deck you're up against, Kaya's just better than this. So Kaya might just be better in general. I think Kaya has a higher bracket than this. Actually, someone in the chat said this is used to be against very powerful things like Keenan and whatever, just whatever was strong at the time. But I never had that issue when I was playing it way back when, and I didn't have that issue now. Actually, a lot of my losses were losing to tier 1 commanders just in my opponent's starting hand and not of the command zone, right? Like Ragavan, Grenzo, no Keenan or anything, but that did annihilate me a few times. But I would say Kaya's probably just better in that thing. There are certain things that you would change if that was the case. Someone recommended the Crab. The Crab is a cool card. My opponent discarded or cast the last card in hand, and then it stole 2 lands and did nothing. But I kind of like it. It's a really good card for this value-wise. You could run more creatures. Like, we could drop the Eldrazi. Probably not Emrakul, because, again, door to nothingness. People just concede when you play this. But you could probably drop Ulamog for a relevant ETB that Athreos likes on your side, right? Now, that does mean it has to live with Athreos at the same time, and man, is that a lot of mana, right? I don't think there was a single game where I had a coin counter on a Gristlebrand, right? So if you have another big scary threat that you put a coin counter on, you're doing powerful things, but you're doing it that having had it cost you 20 mana. So it's hard to... And then you start to teeter on the edge of win more. And if you don't have a coin counter on it already, and you cast a sweeper, you're going to feel kind of dumb. And so we could remove the sweepers, add spot removal, and our own creatures, but then we start to change the deck fundamentally away from what I like to do, which is the slow, grindy control kind of thing in any means necessary, and that's what I was doing. But it's still a fun commander. It's still fun. I like to play it. I don't like playing against it, right? Coin counters on my creatures is absolute misery, right? So it's miserable to play against for some opponents, and, you know, it's, I guess, a plus. I don't know. But let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.